The old dragon came out of the dark without warning. One moment, the repair outpost drifted in silence near the dead star. The next, alarms screamed as a massive shadow passed over the lights. The metal platform shook. Dust fell from the ceiling of the small workshop. Something huge was trying to land and it was failing. The mechanic looked up from his tools just as the sky outside burned red. The dragon crashed onto the outer platform, its body scraping metal, sparks flying like broken stars. One wing slammed hard and did not move again. The other twitched, weak and slow. Smoke rose from cracks in its ancient armor scales. Its engines, grown into its bones over centuries, coughed and died. Then everything went quiet. The mechanic did not run. He should have. Everyone knew what dragons were. They were living war machines, built long ago and later abandoned when even the galaxy decided they were too dangerous. Dragons burned fleets. Dragons ended worlds. Dragons never asked for help. But this one did not roar. It lay still, breathing slow and uneven. Its long neck rested against the platform like it was too heavy to lift. One glowing eye opened, dull and tired, no fire left in it. The mechanic stepped closer, heart pounding. Up close, the dragon looked ancient beyond words. Deep scars crossed its body. Some were burns. Some were cracks filled with old repair metal from forgotten civilizations. Many systems inside it were dark. Power lines flickered weakly under its scales. The dragon tried to move its wing again. It failed. A low sound escaped its chest, not anger, not threat, but pain. The mechanic swallowed. He raised his hand slowly, showing he held no weapon. His voice came out quiet. "You're damaged." The dragon's eye focused on him. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the dragon spoke, its voice rough like grinding stone and broken circuits. "I can no longer fly." The words were heavy with shame. The mechanic did not reply right away. He looked at the wing, the shattered joints, the failing thrusters woven into bone. This was not fresh damage. This was the slow death of age. "You shouldn't have tried to land," the mechanic said. "I had no choice," the dragon answered. "My core is failing. If I stayed in space, I would drift until I went dark." The dragon paused, then added quietly, "I did not wish to die alone." That changed everything. The mechanic felt the fear in his chest shift into something else. Pity maybe. Or understanding. He had seen ships limp into his outpost like this before. Old freighters. Broken scouts. Things everyone else had given up on. Never a dragon. "Why come here?" the mechanic asked. The dragon's eye dimmed. "No one else would let me land." That answer was simple. Honest. It carried centuries of rejection in just a few words. The mechanic exhaled slowly. "You're leaking energy," he said, pointing at glowing cracks along the dragon's side. "If that core ruptures, this station goes with you." "I know," the dragon said. "If you wish me gone, I will try to leave." It tried to push itself up. The broken wing collapsed again. The dragon groaned, a deep sound that shook the platform. Its head dropped back down. The effort cost it too much. The mechanic watched this ancient being fail to do the one thing dragons were known for: fly. He made a decision before he could talk himself out of it. "Don't move," he said. "You'll tear more systems." The dragon looked at him. "You are not afraid." "I am," the mechanic said honestly. "But fear doesn't fix things." He turned and walked back into his workshop. The dragon waited, unsure if this was a trick. The mechanic returned with scanners and cables. He approached slowly, careful, respectful. He scanned the wing, the joints, the energy flow. The readings were terrible. The dragon should not have been alive. "How old are you?" the mechanic asked. The dragon's voice grew distant. "Older than the maps you use." The mechanic nodded. That explained enough. "This won't make you young again," he said. "I can't give you back what time took." "I do not ask for that," the dragon replied. "I only ask to rest without pain." Those words settled deep into the mechanic's chest. He worked for hours, stabilizing leaks, rerouting power, shutting down failing systems before they caused worse damage. The dragon endured in silence, trusting a human it had met only moments ago. As the station's dim lights reflected off ancient scales, the mechanic realized something strange. The dragon was not watching him like prey. It was watching him like hope. When the worst of the energy bleed was stopped, the dragon's breathing evened out. Its eye glowed a little brighter. "You could have killed me," the dragon said quietly. The mechanic wiped grease from his hands. "You could have killed me too." "Yes," the dragon agreed. "But I am tired of being feared." The mechanic looked up at the massive creature resting on his platform. "Then stay," he said. "At least until you're stable." The dragon closed its eye just for a moment. And for the first time in centuries, an old dragon slept without preparing to flee. Morning did not exist on the outpost, but the mechanic still followed a routine. He woke when the station lights shifted, brewed weak coffee, and checked the scanners before touching any tools. This time, every screen showed the same thing. The dragon was still alive. Its massive body filled the outer platform, silent and unmoving except for the slow rise and fall of its chest. Energy readings were low but steady. The dangerous leaks from before were sealed, at least for now. The station had survived the night. The mechanic stepped closer, careful not to startle it. The dragon's eye opened halfway, alert but calm. "You did not leave," the dragon said. "You didn't explode," the mechanic replied. "Fair trade." The dragon made a low sound that might have been a laugh. The mechanic began work in silence. He climbed scaffolding, crawled under armored plates, and ran cables along ancient grooves carved by forgotten hands. Dragons were not built like ships. They were grown, shaped over time, their metal and flesh woven together. Every system had a purpose and most were failing. The wing was the worst. Joints meant to move freely were locked with age and damage. Internal supports had cracked. Power channels that once fed lift and control were barely working. The mechanic did not try to restore full strength. That would break the dragon. Instead, he aimed for balance. He reinforced weak points, replaced broken parts with simpler supports, and reduced strain on systems that had worked too long without rest. He removed old weapon nodes, long dead but still pulling power. The dragon did not protest. "Those were part of me," the dragon said once. "They're killing you," the mechanic answered. "You don't need them anymore." The dragon was quiet after that. Word spread fast. A cargo ship passing through picked up the energy readings and fled. A scout drone recorded images before jumping away. By the second cycle, messages filled the local data lanes. A dragon had landed. A human had not been burned alive. Something was wrong. Ships avoided the area. The outpost became empty, silent except for tools and soft metal sounds. The mechanic did not mind. He worked better without watchers. Sometimes he talked while he worked. Not because the dragon needed it, but because silence felt heavy. He spoke about old engines he had fixed, about stations that no longer existed, about choosing this outpost because no one bothered him here. The dragon listened. "I was made to fight," the dragon said one cycle later. "When wars ended, they abandoned us." The mechanic tightened a bolt. "That happens to a lot of things." "I destroyed worlds," the dragon said. "I do not dream of them anymore, but I remember." The mechanic paused. He did not defend the past. He did not accuse. "You're not destroying anything now," he said. "That counts." The dragon thought about that. As repairs continued, pirates noticed the quiet zone. They came close once, weapons hot, ready to strip the outpost. The dragon lifted its head and opened one eye. No fire. No threat. Just presence. The pirates left. The mechanic found new damage later, stress fractures along the dragon's spine. Not attack. He adjusted the work again, shifting load away from failing sections. "This will limit your range," he warned. "I do not need to travel far," the dragon replied. The mechanic nodded. That answer felt final. One cycle, as he worked near the dragon's chest, he felt heat. Not weapon heat. Core heat. The dragon's power center was unstable, slowly collapsing under its own weight. "This is serious," the mechanic said. "Your core wasn't designed to last this long." "I know," the dragon said. "That is why I came." The mechanic stared at the readings. Replacing the core was impossible. No one built these anymore. No parts existed. But stabilizing it? That might be possible. He designed a support system, simple and human-made. External braces. Cooling loops. Limiters to prevent overload. It would weaken the dragon's output but extend its life. When he explained this, the dragon lowered its head. "You would make me less," the dragon said. "I'd make you last," the mechanic answered. The dragon closed its eye for a long time. "Do it." As the system came online, the dragon shuddered, then relaxed. Power levels dropped. Pain readings dropped with them. For the first time since landing, the dragon's voice sounded steady. "I feel quiet." The mechanic leaned back against a crate, exhausted. His hands shook. "You're not a weapon anymore," he said. The dragon looked at him. "Then what am I?" The mechanic thought about it. "Someone who chose to land," he said. "And someone who chose not to burn me." The dragon considered this. Outside the outpost, space stayed empty. No ships. No threats. Just drifting light and old stars. The galaxy was watching from far away. And it did not know what to make of a human who fixed what everyone else feared. The outpost changed after that. Not in ways scanners could measure, but in quieter ways. The station felt less empty. The silence no longer pressed down so hard. The dragon stayed on the outer platform, resting while the mechanic worked nearby. Neither spoke much at first. They did not need to. The mechanic adjusted systems each cycle, checking readings, tightening supports, and watching for signs of strain. The dragon followed his movements with one calm eye. It no longer watched like a threat. It watched like someone learning trust. One cycle the mechanic brought food out with him. Not for the dragon. He sat on a crate near its foreleg and ate slowly. The dragon tilted its head. "You do not fear being close anymore," the dragon said. "I still fear you," the mechanic replied. "I just don't let it decide things." The dragon thought about that answer for a long time. As days passed, the dragon began to speak more. Not about war. Not about destruction. It spoke about skies that no longer existed. About stars that burned blue instead of white. About flying not to fight, but to feel the wind of space along its wings. "I used to fly just because I could," the dragon said quietly. "Before they taught me to burn." The mechanic listened while repairing a damaged plate. "Why keep flying after the wars?" he asked. The dragon's voice grew softer. "Because stopping felt like dying." The mechanic understood that more than he expected. Ships began to change their routes. Traders noticed that pirate attacks dropped near the outpost. Signals of violence faded. No one saw the dragon attack. They only saw ships turn away. The outpost became a place people avoided, then a place people respected. One cycle, a damaged transport sent a weak distress signal nearby. The mechanic hesitated. Bringing another ship close could draw attention. Could bring trouble. The dragon spoke first. "Bring them in," it said. "I will not harm them." The transport limped in, engines failing. The crew saw the dragon and froze in terror. The mechanic stood between them and the massive shape. "They're under my protection," he said. The dragon lowered its head and remained still. The transport crew stayed. Repairs were made. No one was burned. When they left, they told others. A story began to grow. Not of a fearsome dragon, but of a quiet one. The mechanic noticed the dragon watching him more closely after that. Studying how he moved, how he fixed things, how he helped without asking for anything back. "Why do you help strangers?" the dragon asked. The mechanic wiped grease from his hands. "Because someone once helped me when no one else would." The dragon did not ask more. Another cycle passed. Then another. The dragon's strength did not return, but its pain lessened. It could lift its head without effort now. It could stretch its wings a little, careful and slow. The mechanic watched closely, ready to stop it if needed. "You trust me?" the dragon said one cycle. "Yes," the mechanic answered. "That is dangerous." "So is being alone," the mechanic replied. The dragon was silent for a long time. That cycle, the dragon shared something it had never spoken aloud. Not even in war. "I was given a name once," it said. "Before I became a weapon." The mechanic paused his work. "Do you remember it?" he asked. "Yes," the dragon said. "But I do not think I deserve it anymore." The mechanic considered this. "Names aren't rewards," he said. "They're reminders." The dragon closed its eye. Outside the station, a patrol fleet passed at long range. They scanned the area but did not approach. The dragon felt them. His old instincts stirred. The mechanic felt the tension. "They're not here for you," he said calmly. "And if they were?" the dragon asked. "Then they'd have to talk first," the mechanic said. "That's how humans do things. Sometimes." The dragon gave a low sound, deep and slow. "I have ended fleets," it said. "But I have never been defended." The mechanic looked up at the ancient being. "Everyone deserves that once," he said. The dragon lowered its head until it rested on the platform, close to the mechanic. Not touching. Just near. From that moment, something changed between them. The dragon no longer saw the mechanic as a fixer of systems. The mechanic no longer saw the dragon as a danger being managed. They became something harder to define. Not allies. Not master and weapon. Not legend and mortal. Just two beings choosing to stay. The galaxy continued to watch from a distance. Stories spread, twisted and retold. Some said the dragon was guarding a treasure. Others said the human controlled it. None of them understood. What truly held the outpost safe was not fire or fear. It was a bond no one expected, built quietly, piece by piece, in the space between an old dragon and a human who never turned away. The galaxy did not notice all at once. It noticed in pieces. First came the probes. Small, quiet machines drifting at the edge of sensor range. The mechanic spotted them on his screens and sighed. He did not tell the dragon right away. He finished tightening a support brace and cleaned his hands. "They've started watching," he said at last. The dragon already knew. Its old senses felt the scans like faint pressure against its scales. "Yes," the dragon replied. "They always do." The probes stayed for several cycles, then vanished. After that came ships. Not pirates this time. Official ones. Clean hulls. Careful movement. They stayed far enough away to feel safe. Messages followed. Unanswered at first. The mechanic ignored them. He focused on his work. The dragon focused on staying calm. Its old instincts stirred, but it held them down. It had learned something here. It did not want to lose it. Then one message came through on an open channel. "Clear. Direct. This is a lawful patrol. We request communication with the human operator of the station." The mechanic closed his eyes for a moment. "About time," he muttered. He opened the channel. They did not threaten. They did not shout. That worried him more. They asked questions. How long had the dragon been there? Was it hostile? Was it under control? The mechanic answered honestly. "It's old. It's injured. And no one controls it." Silence followed. Then another message arrived, this one marked high priority. More ships dropped out of jump space. Scientists. Military advisors. Observers. The outpost was no longer quiet. The dragon watched the growing fleet with one eye. It felt old memories trying to wake. Old fire. Old fear. "They will try to take me," the dragon said calmly. "Yes," the mechanic replied. "Eventually. Will you let them?" The mechanic did not answer right away. He looked at the dragon's weakened wing, the support braces, the human-made systems keeping an ancient core alive. "No," he said at last. "But I can't stop them alone." The dragon shifted its weight. Pain flickered, then faded as systems adjusted. "I can," the dragon said. The mechanic turned sharply. "No. You promised no burning." "I promised peace," the dragon replied. "Peace does not mean surrender." The fleet moved closer. Not aggressively. Carefully. They formed a wide arc, weapons powered but not aimed. A single ship moved forward and opened a channel. They spoke to the dragon directly. "You are a strategic relic," the voice said. "Your design alone could change the balance of power. We offer repair, protection, and purpose." The dragon listened. It had heard such words before long ago. "What purpose?" it asked. "Defense," the voice replied. "Deterrence. Security." The mechanic clenched his fists. The dragon lowered its head slightly, not in submission but in thought. "I have served purpose," the dragon said. "It nearly killed me." The voice paused, then continued. "You are not safe here. A single human cannot protect you forever." The mechanic stepped forward into view of the cameras. "He's not alone," he said. "He has a choice." Murmurs spread through the fleet channels. The dragon spoke again, its voice steady but heavy with age. "I will not be moved by force," it said. "I will not be studied. I will not be rebuilt." A warning tone echoed through the fleet. Weapon systems warmed slightly. Not enough to fire. Enough to remind. The dragon felt the shift. Old instincts surged. The mechanic raised his voice. "If you push, you'll get what you fear. If you don't, you won't." Silence stretched. The dragon slowly rose to its full height. Pain rippled through old joints, but it stood. Its massive shadow fell across the outpost and the watching ships. Energy readings climbed, not to weapon levels but enough to be noticed. "I am tired," the dragon said. "But I am not helpless." The fleet commanders saw the readings. They saw the human-made systems limiting output. They saw restraint. That confused them. One ship moved forward again. A different voice spoke, older and calmer. "If we leave you here," the voice asked, "what happens?" The dragon looked down at the mechanic. Then back to the fleet. "I will rest," it said. "I will travel when I can. I will not burn worlds again." "And the human?" "He will continue fixing broken things," the dragon said. "As he always has." The fleet held position for a long time. Debates happened behind closed channels. Risk was measured. Fear argued with reason. At last, the ships powered down their weapons. "This area will be marked neutral," the voice said. "We will observe. We will not interfere." The fleet began to withdraw. One by one, jump signatures vanished. When the last ship left, the outpost felt quiet again. Not empty. Just calm. The dragon slowly lowered itself back onto the platform. His legs shook then steadied. The mechanic rushed to check systems. "You pushed too hard," he said. "That could have killed you." "But it did not," the dragon replied. "Because you fixed me to endure, not to fight." The mechanic looked up at the ancient being. "You scared the entire galaxy," he said. The dragon closed its eye. "No," it said softly. "I showed them I could choose." The mechanic sat down heavily, exhaustion catching up to him. "They'll be back," he said. "Yes," the dragon agreed. "But next time they will come with stories instead of weapons." Above them, space returned to silence. The galaxy had finally noticed, and it had stepped back. The outpost remained quiet after the fleet left. Not the empty quiet it once had, but a settled quiet, like a place that had found its purpose. The mechanic returned to his routine. He checked systems, cleaned tools, and repaired passing ships that now came slowly and carefully. No one arrived with weapons ready. They came with respect. The dragon rested. It no longer slept all the time. It watched the stars, its old eye following distant light. The pain was still there, but it no longer ruled every breath. The human-made supports held strong. The core beat slow and steady. One cycle the dragon spoke. "I believe I can leave soon." The mechanic froze, wrench in hand. "For good?" he asked. "Yes," the dragon said. "Not to disappear. To travel." The mechanic nodded, though his chest felt tight. He had known this would come. "You won't fly far," he said. "I do not need to," the dragon replied. "Only enough." They prepared together. The mechanic reinforced the final supports, adjusted limits, and tested balance systems. Every change was careful. Every movement mattered. When the time came, the dragon stood tall on the platform. Its wings unfolded slowly, no longer wide with power, but steady with control. The station lights reflected off old scars and new repairs, human metal beside ancient design. Before lifting off, the dragon lowered its head toward the mechanic. "I never thanked you," it said. "Not for fixing my body. For seeing me." The mechanic swallowed. "You fixed yourself," he said. "I just helped." The dragon considered this. Then it did something no one in the galaxy had ever recorded. It bowed. Not in submission. Not in fear. In respect. The dragon pushed off gently. The platform shook but did not break. Wings moved slow and careful. Thrusters hummed at low power. The dragon rose into space not as a weapon but as a traveler. The mechanic watched until the massive shape became a distant shadow, then a star among stars. He went back to work. Time passed. Stories spread. Pilots spoke of a region where fights never started. Pirates avoided it without knowing why. Ships broke down there less often. When they did, systems failed softly instead of violently. Some claimed to see a vast shape pass between stars, never close, never threatening. Others said they felt watched, not with fear but with calm. The mechanic grew older. His hair grayed. His hands shook more, but he kept working. He never left the outpost. One cycle, a child aboard a trader asked him if the stories were true. "About the dragon?" she asked. He smiled. "Some of them," he said. "Is it dangerous?" she asked. "Only to those who bring fire," he replied. Far away, the dragon drifted between systems. It rested on asteroids. It watched young stars form. It did not burn anything again. It remembered a small station near a dead sun. It remembered a human who spoke without fear and fixed without judgment. When conflicts rose near its path, the dragon did not attack. It appeared. That was enough. Fleets slowed. Arguments turned into words instead of weapons. No one commanded it. No one owned it. That made it powerful in a way the galaxy had never prepared for. Long after the mechanic passed, the outpost remained. Others took over. They kept it neutral. They told the story carefully, without exaggeration. An old dragon once asked a human for help. The human said yes. That was all. Travelers still whisper about a gentle legend among the stars. A shadow that watches not to destroy but to remind. That even the most feared beings can choose to be kind.